lost in translation. That's how many in the deaf and hard of hearing community feel when it comes to inclusivity and accessibility. Many will never truly understand the everyday life deaf people go through.
So my name is Jay Ish.
This is Jay's interpreter, Sylvie Sullivan. She helps me communicate with him.
I'm currently the director of Deaf Focus under the Louisiana Association for the Deaf.
Jay Ish was born with an invisible disability. He was born deaf, to deaf parents, in a multi-generational deaf family.
I grew up in a household where the use of sign language was a constant. I went to a deaf private school in Vermont. That's where I lived during the week for over 10 years.
I then shifted to education to try to figure out how we can improve deaf kids in the educational system.
This is Paula Rodriguez, who discovered she was hard of hearing in the 4th grade.
I got by first, second, third grade, and then in 4th grade, teachers started noticing that I couldn't hear. And so it was a teacher that pointed that out to my parents.
It wasn't until after high school that Ish ventured out into the hearing world. He says his community was his safe haven. He never had to navigate communicating outside of his bubble.
Everyone's signed in my bubble. So when I went out in the real world, I thought, okay, I had to deal with hearing people, people who don't know how to sign, write notes, get interpreters, all of that. It's not necessarily a culture shock, but it's just dealing with a world that don't know anything about us.
It wasn't until college that Rodriguez learned American Sign Language and got more involved with the deaf community.
I fell in love with the language.
Rodriguez's grandmother was her biggest supporter.
She was an English teacher, and she knew right away that I needed support. I needed to get some help. So she sent me to get my hearing tested, and from there she was my best advocate.
Ish and Rodriguez run a community organization called Deaf Focus. The focus is to help bridge the gap between the deaf and hearing world.
We want to bring experts and the people who need services together. That's pretty much what we do here. We provide what the community needs, whether through interpreting, counseling, expertise.
The pair walk along similar paths but face different obstacles in their day-to-day lives. Even with advanced technology, basic communication is still an issue.
Now we have social media. You have people making videos, but there are no captions on them. It's all frustrating. It's the simple things that simply adding captions. We have politicians who make videos and they don't put captions on their videos.
If I'm going to be your customer in your store or your doctor's office, I need to be able to understand my treatment. I need to be able to understand what you offer, if it's in depth.
Before the COVID-19 pandemic, Rodriguez says she was able to communicate easier with people by reading lips, but mask mandates made that impossible.
It's an invisible disability. There were some people who refused to accommodate, even write back and forth or pull their mask down if they could, if there was a screen, in the middle. But hopefully we can get better.
They say there's a desperate need for language accessibility among these communities.
And I see a lot of children who don't have language. A lot of children struggle in school and their education, with their language. They've been deprived of language. And what I see is really simple things that you need in life that have, like language, access to sign is very basic and simple to allow a person to thrive, like another hearing person can.
Along with language, the deaf community wants better access to their government.
There's still no captioning on the screens at the Capitol. We've been trying to do that for the past, 3-4 years. It puts our community behind and not at the ready to be able to participate in a community that we serve and that we pay taxes in.
Ish and Rodriguez says the community is tired of getting leftovers.
But really the bigger problem is systemic. We need to have more, to be more accommodating, a society that is more accommodating.
Work collaboratively, rely on experts like Jay said, that know what they're doing, bring them into meetings.
They agree the way to move forward is by having a more inclusive environment.
If we would all collaborate to realize that we have systems issues or weaknesses or challenges within our systems that are not friendly and that are harmful to our deaf community, and that many of our deaf community's needs are urgent and should be taken care of immediately. And if we would all band together to try to figure out how to make life better, then we'd have a better community among all of us.
If you want to learn more about Deaf Focus, go to brproud.com. Reporting, I'm Rachel Riley.